Okay, so now we are going to draw graphs using equations of two variables, and in this case we are going to use a table of values to do that. That's a very basic thing we need to do. And to do that, the first thing is that to create a table of value, which is we are right here right now, I wrote down here, and I think it's very important for you to understand, is choose suitable values for x and replace x in the equation. So we have two equations up here. I gave you guys two different lines or the two different graphs. And then once you replace the x in the equation with the selected values, the suitable values that you chose, then you solve that equation for the y value, and then we're going to put it down in a table format. That's called the table of values. So we're going to go through random numbers. So we're going to start with the equation, the first equation, y equals to x minus 1. So let's start with x equals to 0. When we plug 0 back in there, what do we get? We get y equal to 0 minus 1, so y equals to negative 1. So our first value will be, first ordered pairs will be 0, negative 1. That's how you will do that. Next one, x equals to, let's do 2. Now I am randomly choosing these values, but they're suitable values. I'm not choosing 1000 because the grid, the Cartesian plane, is not that big. So I want to make it so that's suitable so that I can graph it accurately and in a smaller kind of a graph. I don't want to have a grid that has got 0 to 1000 left, right, and up and down. That would be just too big of a graph. So this is why we call it suitable values. So when x equals 2, you plug it in there again. So y equals 2 minus 1, y equals 1. What is the new order pair? You write the x first and y second. All right, now you keep going through. So let's come up with a couple other ones. Let's do negative numbers. Let's suppose x equals negative 1. Okay, so negative 1 in place of x. Negative 1, so that would be minus 2. So the new order pair is negative 1, negative 2. To draw a line, all you need, the minimum number of points you need is 2. Two numbers you need, 2 points you need, but usually you can have, we try to get more than 2, 3, 4, 5. That makes it very accurate and you can do that. Okay? All right, I did one more, x equals to minus 2, plug it in there, and I got y equals to negative 3, the new ordered pair, minus 2, minus 3, or negative 2, negative 3. That's the new coordinate. So now we're going to go through and plot these coordinates. So start with this 0, 1. So actually, before we plot, let's do the table of values. Let's put it in a nice table of values. We call it x and y like that, and then we just go through it. 0, negative 1, 2, negative positive 1, negative 1, negative 2, negative 2, negative 3. So that's called the table of values. And now that we have this, let's plot. Each coordinate that we have, we can use coordinates like that, that, and that, or you can read it off of here, which is the same as all of these, and then plot each one of them. Go ahead and do that. Great. Once you plot all of these, so start with 0, negative 1. So 0 is your x, negative 1 is your y. So that's the first coordinate. Let's call that A. So that's your A right there. The next one, 2, 1, that's your B. Let's call that B. And negative 1, negative 2, let's call that C. That's your C. And then the last one is your D right there. So you just plot them. And then you need to grab a ruler or a straight edge. It has to be it. Don't do a freestyle. And then you draw a straight line right through all the 4 points. So straight through, I do not have access to the straight line or a straight edge, sorry. I have to kind of manage it the way I'm doing it right now, as you can see, but you have a straight edge or a ruler, put it down very nicely set up, and then draw a straight line through the points, and that represents the graph of the equation y equals to x minus 1. So the representation of a relation could be done by equation, could be done by ordered pairs, points, and could be done graphically by line. And that's what you want. Okay, second example is 2x minus 2y minus 6 equals to 0. If I didn't put equal to 0 originally, it is. Okay, I make sure that it is. And in this case, now I put this question on purpose. It looks different than y equals to x minus 1. And the reason it's different is that it's not written in terms of y equals to. Now we want to solve for y first, so we have to rearrange this equation in terms of y, so y equals to something x, some number, and then we can go ahead and use the table of values and choose suitable values of x, and then replace it, and then do the table of values. So very first thing to do, rewrite this equation and solve it for y. So remember to do that. You have to start by leaving the 2y alone. You basically subtracting, so get rid of the x, and you're getting rid of the 6 by doing the opposite, exactly opposite operation. And then you do whatever you do to one side, you got to do it to the other side. Add 6 and subtract 2x. You get minus 2y equals minus 2x plus 6. Last thing you have to do, divide everything by 2, minus 2, because we are solving for y, not minus 2y. And this is the equation that you're going to have. Okay, now that we have y equal to x minus 3, suitable values, so now just basically you want to start with, let's start with minus 1, 1, 3, and you can also put in there 0 if you wish, and that's okay. And I didn't put it in any specific sequence or anything like that, but you could, whatever, it's okay, nothing wrong with that. So, and then you can do this in your head if you wish. So if x minus 1, so would be minus 1 minus 3, so y is minus 4. X equals to 1, plug in 1 here, right? 1 for x, that would be 1 minus 3, that will give us minus 2. And 3 minus 3, that will give us 0, and then 0 minus 3, that will give us minus 3. The coordinates for each one of these, so will end up being negative 1, negative 4, 1 minus 2, 3, 0, 0 minus 3. Now we're going to go ahead, plot these, draw a line right through it using a ruler. Okay, so here's the grid. These are the coordinates A, B, C, and then just go through them and do that. That's your A, that's your B. Sorry, this is your A. And this is your B right here. And then last piece right there is C. You can add D as well, 0 minus 3, but you know how to do that. And then straight edge, make sure you have a straight edge, and then draw a straight line right through all the points, and then make sure you don't stop, you just put an arrow at the end and make sure it's straight. You have to take care when you draw these, and then that is it. That is the graph of y equals x minus 3, even though originally it looked like 2x minus 2y minus 6 equals to 0. These two are the same. All right.